We need to understand through awareness who the people are that are coming from Canada, no matter who we are. So even if in our classrooms we don't have very many Indigenous children, maybe none, it's important to teach the history because it's not taught properly.
If we're going to implement some of our histories and the background, I would say we need some oral communicators to help put that history into the curriculum.
The elders are the only people that can actually speak to certain aspects of what you're teaching. So I think having elders in the house, essentially, that you can go to and ask, how do you implement things from an Indigenous perspective? When you're talking about Indigenous ways of knowing, instead of reading from a book, I think it's important to have them tell you personally what that is. And one of the reasons for that is you want to connect spiritually yourself to that person, and it's really hard to connect spiritually to a book.
When we look at accommodating First Nations, we can't use Western written systems and impose them, because then we're repeating the same mistake. The knowledge, oral knowledge, is going to disappear. We can't integrate because the elders talk about cultural confusion. We need to find parallels, and the parallels we find will help us find solutions in the future. Those are best practices to move ahead.
When you're sitting in a circle, you have to face each other. So you become more accountable and more responsible. You know that people around you can see who you are and you can see who they are. So it becomes very safe to people, to children especially, when you're sitting in a circle. So we have to really begin with safety and build that relationship between everybody that is in that classroom, so that we are teaching about the equality of that space and that circle.
We need Western systems to protect oral systems to help us teach what we need to teach in our oral practice. We need to bring in elders to make sure we do the right circles, rather than just using circles for the sake of circles. And if we work with the culture to deliver the right practice, then trust can be built, so then the children can really take to heart what they need to learn.
Sometimes we're the ones that are going to teach those children and those parents about what the real effects of residential school is. Probably one of the biggest challenges that we are going to face is people are going to resist and say, I'm not Indigenous, I don't teach Indigenous people, why do I have to know this? We all need to know it. It would be very nice to know that all teachers, all nurses, all people need to have that cultural awareness piece. And when you're having an elder speak to you, I think you create an ethical space, and then it becomes far easier for that person to come down into their spirit and realize that there's nothing to be afraid of, that we can learn together.